Okay, good morning. And so far we have discussed about SAP SD pricing overview, pricing configuration, and pricing master data. And in the today's class, we are going to discuss about uh, the advanced topic, or I can say that the more critical part of pricing, critical areas of pricing, which we have not discussed in the previous class. You remember, like when I was explaining the pricing procedure configuration, there are some fields which we did not discuss. By the time I told to all of you that we will discuss later. So those fields are, if you remember, there are total 16 fields in the pricing procedure configuration, like the step, counter, condition type, description, from, to, print, manual, required, and then subtotal, requirement, alternative calculation type, alternative condition based value, account keys, and occurrence. So these are all the different fields which are available as part of pricing procedure configuration. And out of those, we have discussed most of the items or the most of the fields, but we did not discuss about four important fields. Those are one is requirement, usage of requirement, and the second one is alternative calculation type, and the third one is alternative condition base value, account keys, and accruals. I repeat it. We did not discuss about requirement field in the pricing procedure. We did not discuss about alternative calculation type, alternative condition base value, account keys, and accruals. We did not discuss about these fields, but these fields are very important because these are the fields which controls the complete pricing mechanism. I mean to say that the pricing works in a regular way based on all the configurations what you do. That means most of the times the pricing works based on the configuration and master data, that is condition records what we did. But when it comes to any special situation or any special requirement or any special condition, if you have any special condition, okay, if you need any special condition to determine a price in a transaction, to determine a specific condition type in a transaction, whether you wanted to determine or not. I mean to say that even though there are some condition types, which you placed in the pricing procedure. Okay, let us say you placed or you configured. Let us say you configured your pricing procedure with 100 condition types. But in normal conditions, what happens? Based on the condition record availability, all 100 condition types will be determined during the sales order. That is what you are understanding, right? I mean, if you configure your pricing procedure, a 50 condition types, there are 50 different condition types, like different discounts, different prices, different freights, different taxes, different duties. Okay, all different things. If you configure price with the different condition types, what is your expectation? You are expecting those condition type values should be determined during the sales order if the condition record exists, right? When the condition type will get some value in the sales order, without condition record, without maintaining the price, will the condition type will determine some value in the sales order? I mean, I repeat it. Once you configure the condition, once you configure the pricing procedure, will the condition type values automatically determined in the sales order? Vivek, will the condition type values automatically determined during the sales order? based on the configuration?
I think yes, Venkat. The only thing is we need to maintain the actual condition records like the price,
Yes.
values, and everything.
Okay, that means it is not just okay if you just, if it is not just, it is not okay if you just do the configuration. It is not okay to do the, if you just do the configuration. If you do the configuration, system just determine the condition type, not the, if you go and look at your sales order pricing procedure, it just shows the condition types. And when you go to the details, what it shows, no condition record, no condition record, no condition record, right? Am I correct? Let me go there. How is it today? Is it audible?
Yeah, Venkat, it is audible.
No issues, right? So far. So if I go to any sales order, okay, and I go to pricing analysis, like go to the conditions, okay, and if I go to pricing analysis, there are different condition types. That means what are these condition types? Whatever the condition types you placed under the pricing procedure. So what is the pricing procedure? What is the pricing procedure determined for the sales order? What pricing procedure is determined for the sales order?
Sales document type, then customer pricing
Okay.
procedure.
Based on that, what pricing procedure is already determined for the sales order?
Venkat, could you share the screen? We are unable to see.
Sorry. I thought I already shared it. I'm very sorry. Okay. So what pricing procedure is determined for the sales order? We are in sales order, right? We are in
GBA01.
Okay. We are in sales order. Okay. And I went to the item level. And if I go to the pricing analysis, conditions pricing analysis, what pricing procedure is determined for the sales order?
GBA01.
Correct. GB, this is the pricing procedure. Why only this? Why not other pricing procedure? Why only this pricing procedure is determined?
Because for this sales order, the combination of the document type and the customer pricing procedure, all the combinations points to GBA01.
Yes, because the sales area, like sales organization, distribution channel, division, and customer pricing procedure and document pricing procedure, based on the values available in the sales order, the system is directing to get the pricing procedure called GBA0001. Can we check it? Can we just confirm it? Okay. So now if I go to one more screen. So first of all, let us see what is the sales area, that is sales organization, distribution channel, division for this order. Okay. For that, if you can go to the header, you can see here what is the order type. Okay. What is the sales area data, like sales area means sales organization, distribution channel, and division. Okay. If I go to SPRORV/08 pricing procedure, SPRO, because for that we don't have direct IMG. Sales and distribution, basic functions, pricing control, and then if I go to define pricing procedure and assign pricing procedure determination. Okay, so what is it? How the system is determining the pricing procedure? Based on sales organization, distribution channel, division, document pricing procedure, and the customer pricing procedure. So what is our sales organization? GB00. If I go here, okay, see. So what is our sales area? Sales organization is GB00, distribution channel is GB, and division is GB. So okay, GB. And then, so this is the document type. So where you can see what is the pricing, what is the document pricing procedure. If you go to the document configuration, you can see what is the pricing procedure for that, and then customer pricing procedure. If you go to the customer master, you can see customer pricing procedure. So for this combination, what is available in the configuration? We instructed the system whenever a sales order is created, with the sales area GB00, distribution channel GB, division GB, and the document type pricing procedure, document pricing procedure is A, and customer pricing procedure is 1. Then we are telling the system, we are instructing the system, determine the pricing procedure as ZBAA01. You understood now? Okay, so that's good. Now if you go here, this is header level, go to the item level. If you go under condition, okay, and go to the analysis, so that is what you can see, GBA001. And then what happens? Whatever the condition types we configured during the pricing procedure, all will be available here, right? All will be available. Am I correct? Okay, different discounts, different rebates, right? Different prices, different duties. Okay, all whatever you put, all the condition type will be available, will be appeared, or will be displayed. Now, what happens if you go and look here? Okay, system is what the system shows. Okay, if you maintain what? If you maintain condition record in week 11, system tells you, okay, the price is there. The system tells you the price is there. Okay, because you maintain the price, $50 record for this. Okay, and then if you go to the other criteria, it says that it found one more condition record. Okay, and then so for this, it is not, condition record is not available. If you go here, okay, condition without condition record, like this, if you keep seeing condition record is missing, okay, and then this is okay, and then variant condition record is missing. So that means what you understood, that in order to determine the price, in the sales order, what is supposed to happen? The system is expecting to have a condition record in the front end. Am I correct? If you maintain the condition record, then only it can get the price. Otherwise, it just shows you the condition type, but no value. Am I correct or not? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it just shows you, like, since you maintain the material discount, it shows $10. So since you maintain like a PR00, like condition type, $70 it shows, and $50 inactive. Why? Because when you have two condition records, for the same condition type, the system selects you most specific one. Why one is inactive and one is active? Because we maintain two condition records. Because we have maintained two condition record for the same price at a two levels, two combination level. You remember, we maintain, please understand, we have maintained two condition record for the same condition type PR00. What are the levels we created? One record we created,
Customer level and material level.
one is at the just material level, and other one is the
Customer material.
level. So which is the more specific? So if you so I maintain we maintain PR00 condition record, same condition type, but we maintain two, then it cannot apply the two prices, right? It cannot apply the material price, it cannot apply the both price, right? It has to take only one. Even if you maintain four condition records for the PR00, even if you maintain four condition types for the PR00, what will be taken by the system? What will be active and what will be inactive? Only this is active, the green is active and the yellow is inactive. Why it is inactive? Why it is not taking into consideration? Why only the PR00 $70 is taking into consideration? Why? Because this is the more specific one. If I go to the analysis, PR00, okay. So this is what? This is at the material level, right? This is at the material level. So and then this is at the customer material level. So which is more specific system perspective? The customer material
Customer
is more specific. So that's why it is taking the $70 as active and the $50 is inactive, because the material level is not specific, right? When you have more criteria like material, customer and some other values, its system understood that okay, it looks like it is more accurate because it has more considerations. Okay, so that is called more specific. So that means system gives the preference to the more specific to the more generic. First system try to look at is there any condition record for the more specific combination, and then next level, and then next level, and then next level, and last go to the generic level. So generic means just the organization level, no customer, no material, and no more other criteria. Okay, that is the thing. If I go back, like this is what you need to understand. And if you go to analysis, okay. So now PR00 is the determinant. That means so up to this level, what is happening? System is working up to this level. System is working based on the configurations and the master data. Am I correct? Swati. Are you able to follow? Up to this level, this is what we already discussed, and this has to be understood by everyone before I move to further, right? As of now, system is just working based on the configurations and the master data. Correct? Is there any special controls influencing this? Are there any special controls influencing this part? As of now, no, right? Okay. And now the point is, I'm going to give a small scenario. Okay. If in case, so I'm going back. Okay, this is my item. What is the item category? What is the item category? TAN. You remember what is the TAN item? So standard item, right? It's a standard.
Standard item category.
Standard item means what? Standard item means what? Standard item means it has to be priced. It has to have a price. It has to have a delivery. It has to have a billing. And it has to behave in a normal way, right? The system understood that everything has to be normal, right? Normal. Okay. Am I correct, Vivek? That's your understanding, right?
Yes, Venkat, that's correct.
Okay. And whereas, if in case, if my sales order is having TANN, what does it mean? TANN.
No price.
It's free of charge and it is not relevant for billing.
That means whenever you have an item in the sales order, whenever you have a item in the sales order, whenever you have a item with the item category TANN in the sales order, whenever you have an item in the sales order with item category TANN, what does it mean? It is a free of charge item. That is what we configured, right? If you go to the configuration of item category, if you go to the configuration of the item category, how we configure the TANN item category? We configure that free of charge item, no price, no billing kind of thing, right? We configure that. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now my next question is, if item category is a TANN, if item category is a TANN, do we need to consider PR00 price? If item category is determined in the sales order is TANN, do we require the PR00 condition, price condition?
Yes, but it won't be for billing. No. My God.
Not like that, not like that. Do we need to apply the price to the sales order?
No.
No, right? I mean to say that if the item is a free of charge item, does it makes to apply the PR00 condition value? Because anyway, you configure the pricing procedure with PR00. You configure the pricing procedure with PR00. Okay, and you maintain the condition record. But the point is, your item is having the item category TANN, which is free of charge item. Then do we need to apply the PR00 condition record? Do we need price for that item?
No.
Umaira.
No, Venkat. But how will the finance department know even that this material is given as free of charge, but there is no billing to it?
Finance department is least bothered about what we maintain, we control. They just need to look at what is the total value of the billing document. That's it. Sales department doesn't need to answer finance department why it is free, why it is discount. It's all up to sales department. That doesn't matter.
Okay, then there would be no price condition, price record.
I mean, if it is a TANN, okay, what does it mean? It does not make any sense to apply the price for a product in the sales order. Am I correct? Right?
Yes, Venkat.
Now, how can we control? We need to control that, right? Because condition record level, we cannot tell that. Using the condition record, we cannot tell that. Okay? Configuration, so far, whatever the configuration we did so far, do we have any provision anywhere? Like tell the system if the TANN is item category, the specific condition PR0 should not apply, or this should not apply, like this. No, right? So far we did not have anything. Okay? To control these kind of special situations, what happens? SAP has provided something called requirements. That is what I'm going to demonstrate now. Requirements in the pricing procedure determination. Okay? SPRO. Very, very important. Whichever the interview you attend, without that, there will not be any interview at all. SAPST. Okay? Sorry. Basic functions. Pricing control. Okay. Now here the requirement. You know what happens? These requirements are routines. These requirements are, whatever the requirements you are assigning here, okay, these requirements are called pricing routines. Okay, that means whatever is not possible using the configurations, whatever is not possible using the configuration available in the system. Try to understand. Whatever is not possible using the configurations and the master data available during the pricing. And also, if you have any special conditions, if you have any special business requirements, if your business is having any special conditions to determine a condition type in the order, or if your business is having any special requirements, if your business is having any special requirement to determine a condition type, to not to determine the condition type, okay, what happens? SAP has given some requirements. SAP has given some requirements in the form of routines, or SAP has given some routines to assign to the condition types in the form of requirements. So we will see now what routine, sorry, what requirement is assigned to the PR00. What requirement? The requirement 2 is assigned to the PR00. So what does it mean? So this means system, this means if the condition, if the item category of the sales order is, if the item category of the sales order is relevant for the pricing, okay, if the item category of the sales order is relevant for the pricing, then only apply this condition. What does it mean? If the item category of the sales order, is relevant for the pricing, then only apply this condition type or this condition record. That is what it means. That means using the requirement, or using the pricing requirement routine, to what we are telling the system, consider PR00 condition value if the item in the item category in the sales order is relevant for the pricing. Then what does it mean? If the item category in the sales order is relevant for the pricing, then only it will apply. If in case the item category of the sales order is not relevant for the pricing, then will the system apply the PR00? No. We will see that what is that item category pricing. I hope you remember. Vivo V6, Vivo V7. This is schedule and category. Okay. So if I go to TIN, so what is the pricing relevance? X means, so pricing, standard pricing. That means pricing is relevant, right? Pricing is relevant. Okay. For example, if I go to TANN, what does it mean? Pricing for the free goods. That means it is not relevant for the pricing. So if it is not relevant for the pricing, does it make any sense to apply this PR00 value to the sales order?
No.
So that is what we can control. That is how you can control using the requirements. So generally, so it is a like, it is a standard requirement and a special requirement. And generally from the business perspective also, it makes sense, right? If your order contains some free of charge items, and It is, for example, though it is a regular item, though you are generally you sell it as a price. That's why you maintain. In general, what happens? You sell it as a cost. You sell it using a price. But on certain cases, you decide to give it the free of charge. But what happens? You might have already created the condition record. Whenever you are selling that item in the normal way, there might be some condition record. Okay? And even if you want to sell it free, what happens? System try to take that condition record, right? Because every time you have to delete the condition records. That means there is a item called Xbox. So Xbox is the item which you generally priced it till yesterday. But today, in the today's order, you wanted to give it as a free of cost. But in the past, you might have created some condition record, right? So when you create an order today, it automatically goes and get that record, right? And it applies the price. But what is today's decision? You want to give it as a free of charge item. That's why you make it item category free of charge item, or item category is determined. So now if you do not have this requirement, what happens? Though it is a free of charge item, though it is a price not relevant item, though it is not relevant for the price item, but system applying the condition record which is available at that time. To avoid that situations, what SAP has given? SAP has given a situation. SAP has given a special privilege called assign the requirement. So if you assign this requirement to what does the system understand? System understand that, okay, oh, I have to apply the PR0 condition value if item category is relevant for the pricing. If the item category in the sales order for that item is not relevant for the pricing, I should not apply this condition. That is what it tells. Even if you want to see, you can go and see here. If you go to the information, I button, you see this. So this is an example of pricing requirement. This requirement met if item category is relevant for the pricing. That means this requirement applies. Okay, this condition type applies to the sales order item if the item category is relevant for the pricing. So that is how we can control. Okay, that is how you can control the special requirements or special business process in the system. Like this, there are some other requirements. Like this, there are many other requirements. Okay, you see there is some requirement called 4. Requirement called 4, cost, right? 4. Let's see which one is assigned with the 4. Okay, you see what is condition type VPRS? It is the cost. VPRS condition type is the cost. You know when it will determine if the sales document item category, is determined, is configured. If the sales document item category is configured, it determine the cost. For example, if you go to the item category, you see this. What is this? Determine the cost. That means if your item category is configured, yes, I want to determine the cost. If item category is configured, is defined with determine the cost, then only this VPRS will come to the VPR. The cost will determine, the cost will display in the sales order. Okay. If this is not active, then even though you have cost, it will not show in the sales order. So like this you can control. And not only that, and the other things what you can easily understand is, okay, you see B001, B002, B003, B004, B005. Okay, let us see what are these. Okay, These are specially for the rebates. So when these condition types will be determined, you can understand that. So we have B001, B002, B003, B004 and 5. So 24 means determine only these condition types. Determine only these condition types in the billing document, because at the order level we do not require any rebate. When you give the rebates to the customer, what is the basis?
When creating customer must.
That is okay. When you generally offer the rebates to the customer, what is the basis? Do you want to offer the rebates to the customer just based on the sales order? No, right?
No.
It's not a good idea to just offer the rebate just based on the sales order. If the customer really fulfills the agreement, that means if the customer really completes the sales process till the billing after delivery and he pays the money and complete everything like billing process, then only we have to give the rebate. So that is the reason. So we are telling the system, determine these condition types. If it is not relevant for the sales order, we don't need to determine the sales order, right? So that is why using the requirement 24, we are instructing the system, determine the B001, B004, B005 only in the billing document. That means if you assign the requirement 23, if you assign the requirement 23, 24, even 25 also, okay? If you assign the requirement 23, 24 to your condition types in the pricing procedure, you know what happens? Then the system understand that, okay, I have to determine these condition types only in the billing document. I should not determine these condition types in the sales order during the sales order. So that is because if I don't want to see these condition types in the sales order, I have to apply this. I have to assign this requirement. Otherwise, if I'm okay to display, if I want to display, then I should not apply. I can just leave it blank. I can just leave the requirement blank. If I just leave it blank, what happens? I can see the rebate condition types in the order also. That means when you go to the sales order, in the sales order, I can see that. So generally, if I close it and go, if you go to any sales order, you don't see any B001, B002. But if you go to billing documents, you can see that B001, B002, B03, like rebate condition types, because all the rebate condition types is assigned with the requirement 24. So like this, there are sometimes intercompany. So if you are there is some special business process. There is some special business process in SAP SD called intercompany sales process, which is very, very important. We will discuss later. Not as part of the advanced topics, we will discuss that. Okay, intercompany sales process. So when it comes to the intercompany sales process, only that time, okay, whatever the condition type assigned with the requirement 22, whatever the condition type assigned with the requirement 22, that condition type will be available during the intercompany transaction, during the intercompany sales. Whenever you are making sales between two companies of your group, two company codes of your group, then only that condition type will be determined. Like that, whatever the special rules, whatever the special requirements you have in your pricing, all those you specified in the form of the requirements. You understood what is the requirement? Basically, these requirements will control when a condition type has to be determined, when a condition type should not be determined during the sales order. Okay, what condition? Basically, the requirement controls what condition type should be determined at what time, at what place, in what transaction. So that is what the requirements. Basically, These are all like, having some code, okay. This is information which can be understood by the functional consultant. If you go this one, you can see some code, okay. Basically the ABAP team change this code. For example, in addition to the given condition, if your business is having any special condition, in addition to the given condition for each requirement, if your client is having special requirement, then ABAPers will modify this, okay. So for example, it is like this. So now we are determining, we are using the, this is the code, this is the ABAP write, okay. They write the code saying that, okay, if the item category of the sales document is relevant for the pricing, then only determine this condition type. Otherwise, we don't need to determine. That is, this code meaning. If in case, in addition to that is one condition. If your business wanted to add one more condition, then what happens? They can change this code. They can go to the change mode. We need access because we cannot code. We are all functional consultant. So what they do? So they have their own access key and enter the access key and continue. They can change the code. So like this, if your client is having any special conditions, if your client is having any special conditions, any special requirements to determine a condition type, not to determine the condition type, to determine in a different way. So we use requirements to control that. Everybody clear? What is the requirement? Clear, Vivek?
Yes,
Yes,
Venkat.
Venkat.
Okay, so that is what the requirement is. And the next important thing is calculation type. Okay, this is also called alternative calculation type. This is also called alternative calculation type. Okay, the second one. First is the requirement, and the second one is calculation type or alternative calculation type. Okay. Okay. So generally, when I say alternative calculation type, Okay. So generally, how the net value is calculated? How the net value is calculated? How the net value of the transaction is calculated?
It's based on the combination of all the condition types like cost and tax and freight, everything.
Generally, net value is the amount excluding the taxes, right? Amount excluding we need to exclude the tax from the net value. That is the net value, and total, if you add the tax and all, that becomes the gross value, right? And that is the normal way of calculating the net value. If in case, if you want any special calculation, if you want to use any special value, special rule, if you want to use any special rule to calculate any value, any condition type. So I mean to say that in general, system has its own way of calculation. If in general, system follows it's all generic way of calculating the condition types, condition values. But if you have any special rule, any alternative rule, you see, that's why I told you alternative calculation type. So generally, thus in the standard way, system calculates all the condition types. But if you want to calculate any condition value, any condition type in a different way, what you can suggest, you can write that code in the form of calculation type routines. What you can do, you can write here. SAP has given some calculation types. Okay, SAP has given some calculation types. Okay, if you want any special rule, if you want any special calculations than the standard, then you can use these calculation types. Okay, so if you use this net value, or for example, so if you want to, when you are calculating any condition type, you wanted to consider cash discount minus tax, then what you can do, you can use this routine. This is a routine. Okay, and if you wanted to consider net value plus tax. Okay, if you go here, see, for example, to calculate the total, what we did, total value of the price in the document, what we assigned the calculation type 4. So that means what we are telling the system, the total value of the transaction is the total value of the transaction at this moment, at this level. The total value of the transaction at this level is net value, whatever the net value we got it, and the plus whatever the net value, and tax plus tax is the total. So how the system understand what is the total based on this calculation type. Okay, that means whatever the way how you are expecting the system to calculate, all your values during the sales order process, what we are doing, Okay, whatever the way you are expecting the system to calculate your condition values in the pricing, what we can do, we can assign the alternative calculation type routines. Okay, that means this routine is having that logic. Okay, if you go to the code, you can see the code. The developer write the code whatever the way it is. If in case if you want to add something else also, now what you are adding to the net value. Now you are adding the net value, you are adding the tax. Now you are adding the tax. Now you are adding the tax to the net value. Now you are adding the tax to the net value. If you want to add something else, what they can, you can ask your developer. Okay, you can ask your developer, my total value has to be taken into consideration of net value, tax, and duty also. Okay, like that if you tell them, they can change it, they can change this routine, they can change this routine, and they can give the transport number. If you move it to the production and going forward, this total will be displayed, this total will be determined based on the net value, tax, and also duty. Like this, whatever the way you wanted the system to calculate the values, calculate your conditional values, so that you can assign as part of the calculation type. Okay, so this requirement, basically the requirement routines controls what condition type should be determined, what condition type should be determined, at what time, at what level, and what transaction. So that is basically the requirements controls. Okay, the criteria to determine, the criteria to consider, the criteria, the requirement routines. The requirement routines will help the system to consider. Okay, the determination criteria for the condition types, the consideration of the condition types during the order process. Okay, and the calculation type, these are the calculation routines helps for the alternative calculation formulas. Okay, if you want to have any special calculation process required during your pricing, that you can control by assigning the alternative calculation type routines. Okay, it all business, right? The business may be having different requirements. Am I correct? You agree with me? Hello?
Yes, Venkat.
So, and then the condition base value. And then the condition base value. Okay? Basically, the condition base value is, okay. So, whenever you are whenever the system performing some calculations, whenever the system performing the condition type processing, Hello,
Yes, Venkat.
are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, what happens? This alternative condition based value helps the system. Okay. What is the basis? What is the basis to apply a condition type? To apply a condition type, what is the basis to apply a condition type during the sales order? Okay. For example, you are giving a discount. You are giving a discount. For example, you are giving the discount. Okay. You are giving the discount. Let us say you are giving the cash discount. You are giving the cash discount to the customer. Okay. So how you can give? You can give the cash discount. You can give the cash discount based on the total value, right? You can apply the cash discount based on the total value of the sales order. We can apply that, right? We can give the cash discount based on the total value of the sales order. That is what we generally do, right? If your order value is like $1,000, you can give the discount irrespective of what is the item, irrespective of how many items you have, irrespective of what is the what are the number, irrespective of the number of the items in the order. You can just simply apply the discount, cash discount to the sales order, the total value of sales order. If in case, if you want to distribute, the discount value based on the number of items, like each item you want to distribute, in general system calculates, in general the base for calculation of the basis for calculation of the discount, cash discount, is the sales order value. Okay, but you are not, your company, your client is not okay with that. Your client is not okay with that. Then your client will ask you, no, we don't want to give like that. We wanted to apply the cash discount based on individual line item and its quantity. They wanted to distribute the discount based on the line item and their values. Then what you can do, you can assign the requirement, you can assign the requirement to. So if you assign the requirement to, what happens? The system will apply the cash discount. The system will apply the cash discount and distribute the fixed amount to the net value of the item. So based on the item net value of each item, the system distributes the discount. Okay, that is a special basis what you want. So the general basis sales order value, but your special based requirement is to calculate on the basis of the net value of the each line item. So that means whenever you wanted to have a different basis for the calculation, an alternative basis for the calculation, whenever your client requires an alternative basis, the regular way the system calculates something, but whereas your company want to calculate the condition type on different basis, then what you can do, you can apply the alternative base type routines. Then you can apply the alternative base routines. You can apply alternative base routines. There are already some standard routines given by SAP. If you want, you can work with your developer to change any special basis. If you want to add an additional basis to the any requirement, if you tell to your developer, they can change it. Okay, that is what an alternative base value. And one more example to make you easy understand. This is cash discount base. Okay, so this basically, generally what happens, okay, we apply the cash discount. Okay, we apply the cash discount based on the net value. Okay, but whereas if you want to apply okay, the cash discount based on net value plus tax. That means, so if you want to have a base for your cash discount, net value and the tax, net value and the tax, or if you want to have the cash discount based on just net value, okay, that is control the pricing alternative base value 11. Okay, that means under the normal circumstances, the system applies the cash discount based on net value plus tax. Under the normal conditions, without any base value, without any base requirement, the system calculates cash discount based on net value plus tax. But whereas if you want the cash discount should be calculated based on just net value, what requirement you need to assign? The requirement 11 has to assign. If you do not assign the requirement 11 to the cash discount, how the system calculates? The system applies the cash discount based on net value plus tax. If you apply the alternative base value requirement, then the system applies the cash discount based on the only net value. Okay, this is what. So this is the way how you can assign alternative. It's actually little difficult to understand. Okay, I'm trying my level best, because this is a critical part of the training. Even the people who have 5 to 7 years experience also may not get exposed to this level. Okay, so such a critical, but I'm trying to, that's why I did not cover as part of the regular discussion. After demonstrating pricing scenarios and other things, I started today, because now we have some base and some base level of pricing concept. I hope you understood now, but if in future also we can discuss. Okay, so this is called an alternative condition based value routines. Okay, and then account keys, So basically account keys tells the system, whether this condition type is a revenue, whether this condition type is a discount, whether this condition type is a freight. So that is how the system knows. This condition type is a price, this condition type is a discount, this condition from the accounting perspective. Okay, I'm talking about from the accounting perspective. From the finance perspective, how they know this condition value is a price, this condition value is a discount, this condition value is a freight, this condition value is a duty, based on this account key. So the account keys specify whether a particular condition is a revenue, whether the particular condition is a discount, whether the particular condition is a freight. That is controlled by the account keys. If you go here, you can see. Okay, so if any condition assigned with the ERL account key, what does it mean? How it shows in the finance side? For example, $10,000 of PR00 is transferred to the finance department, and if it is assigned with the account key ERL, what does it mean for the finance department? It is a revenue. And $1,000 of freight transferred to the finance department, and it assigned with the account keys in the pricing procedure ERF. What does it mean? They understood that it is a freight. So based on the account keys, the system will differentiate. The system can discriminate, or the system can differentiate the values after transferring the finance department. Okay, so this is called account keys. These accruals we'll discuss later point of time. So this is what is very, very important from the pricing perspective. Requirement, calculation type, alternative calculation type, alternative condition based value, and account keys. If you are able to explain these things in a proper way with examples what I have given, okay, then you are done. Like, you like 50% of interview you cleared kind of thing. Okay.
Venkat, will you be able to send these videos? Venkat?
Yes, I will send. I'm not sure till what time I have shared, what day. Okay, let me convert it by end of today. By 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, I will send it. If not, please remind me. Please remind me, any one of you. Okay, please. Thank you. See you on Wednesday night. So now onwards, I wanted to make it as a default class on Wednesday also. Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday. Okay, 9:30.
Wonderful.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, Venkat.
Thank you.
Thank you, Venkat.
Thank you.